And Lillian, if you didn't know.
You guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
And turn your notifications on. That way, when we upload a new video, you get a notification.
Ding, ding. Yes. So we were discussing some things that I believe were very impactful in my life. And I recall a situation where I found myself to be in a abusive relationship. And through this course, I had no idea that I was in an abusive relationship. I know I heard a lady say that people that are in a domestic violence situation, they don't get out because they don't even know that they're in a domestic violent relationship or an abusive relationship or a domestic violence situation. So this was something that I've always seen other people go through things like this, and I always said, you know, I would never let nobody put their hands on me, or you know how we say, you know what, I wouldn't do this if it was me. But when it happens, you're so caught off guard. I was so caught off guard. It started with the, hey, don't look at him when I'm looking, you know, driving in the car and I'm looking out the window. It started with a, hey, what are you looking at? And I'm like, hey, I'm not looking at anybody. So then you want to not look anywhere, and then it became you know what, I think a lot of girls think it's cute when guys say, you know what, you're not going anywhere, or if you leave me, or if I find you cheating on me, I'm going to I'm going to harm you, I'm going to kill you. Like, we find this so cute because we think the guy is so into us, but not really realizing that that is domestic violence. They're trying to control us. And even the situations, I've been in so many crazy things to where I even tried to leave at some point, and I was like, you know what, I didn't want to be here anymore. And it just starts so gradually, and later on, then that's when the choking happened. Like, you don't realize it. So I can understand the whole domestic violence situation, because it just happens so small. Then you find yourself getting hit, and then it's I know. I think women, when we think of domestic violence, we think of something that happens continuously, not realizing that it's not something that's continuously. It's not something that happens every day. Women don't always get beat every single day. You're not getting hit in your mouth all the time. You know, if it happens one time and it happens maybe a couple months down the road, you're in a domestic violent situation or an abusive relationship.
Yeah, you definitely can't ignore the waiting period. Sometimes there's, like she just stated, you go, let's say an incident happens and then it doesn't happen again for another 6 to 12 months. And then that person's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I don't know what got a hold of me, or I was drunk, or you know, you really made me mad.
Right,
you know,
right. And the blame game begins. So what is domestic violence?
Domestic violence is violent or aggressive behavior within the home.
Violent behavior within. So what is violence? What is violence?
Violence is behavior involving physical force and intending to hurt, damage, kill someone or something.
Oh, wow.
So what are like some specs as far as like there's 3 of us here. I think it's like if there was one more lady or woman here, it would be like every 2 and 4. What is it?
I think it's every 1 in 4. It's 1 in every 4 women, and then for men,
it's 1 in 9 for men, and then children, they see about 90%. They witness about 90% of the domestic violence, so they're in it as well because they witness it.
That's huge. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine as a child, it's something that you carry on into your life. Mm-hmm. Like you remember, like my mom used to get beat on, and then I can only imagine that even when these children grow up, that they become abusers because it's learned behavior.
They can be abusers, or they can be more susceptible to being abused.
Yeah.
So, and then when you were talking about your experiences, I think sometimes people get caught up in like, I didn't get a black eye, I didn't get
was
this,
it so severe?
But it's not just physical.
Right.
It can also be verbal.
Right.
It can be emotional.
Right.
Economical.
Right. Oh, that's
economics. Have control over you sexually.
Wow.
And some women find that
taking it by
turn-on.
force sexually.
That's true.
So there's other areas or there's other things that are involved in domestic violence.
So how does it start? Is there a pattern to it? How does domestic violence start? How can you identify you're in an abusive relationship? What are the key factors? Say, I don't know I'm in an abusive relationship. How can you help me to know?
I think one way, as you stated earlier, you're talking about it being gradual. And I think one of those forms is separation, isolation.
Okay.
And oftentimes, probably more than none, you hear it's like a form of endearment, like, oh, I just want it to be just you and me. And they continuously repeat this, like, oh, don't have that friend. I don't want her around. Oh, why do you have that on? That's like too sexy. I just leave. Wear that for me and me only.
Wow.
Or let's move. Let's get away from here. Don't call your mom. They begin to slowly try to isolate you and pull you away from people you're familiar with. And just start to pull you out of your routine. If you find that you're an outgoing person and you find your personality starting to retract and you're becoming more internal and you start to internalize,
it's so good.
Then you're possibly in the process of being in a domestic violence situation.
And just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that you're not in a domestic violence or an abusive relationship.
Or you could be an outgoing couple. Everything is good on the outside, but when you in the home, it's a whole nother situation.
Yes, that's so true.
Yeah.
And I think it's like that monster under the bed. It's like that secret in the closet that people don't know, because we have the tendency to put on such a facade and hide behind our smile, and hide behind beauty or hide behind our clothes or whatever it is you hide behind that causes people not to see it. And we're so good at that. And then you come home and that monster comes out of that closet and you go back out. It's just like it's taunting you and you don't know what to do. We're going to try to put for you in the description below some numbers you can call if you feel like you are in a situation and you don't know how to get out of it.
And you guys, don't be ashamed. It's very common. A lot of women, so you're not alone. Don't think you're alone. Don't think it's just you.
1 in 4.
Right, so you're not alone.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of ladies out here that are going through the same thing along with you. So you're not alone. Don't be shame-faced it. Don't go through your situation in shame. Tell someone, speak out, tell people you trust. Tell people that you don't even know, people you can gain access to, you know, because you don't know how severe the situation is. If you gain access to someone, try to tell your story or try to let them know or give them key things to where they can identify of your situation. I know this thing is just not something that just happens, but it also happens in cycles. Shawana?
Oh, first cycle is the tension is building. I guess we'll just get straight into it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a lot of time to talk about it. We want to hit very strong points and important points.
Okay.
To help those that may not know fully or understand it fully. So there is what is considered a cycle. Everybody doesn't include the 4 steps, but it is a pretty popular cycle. And it's the first step is the tension building, where something happens to agitate the abuser, you know, and they tend to get upset. And then with that, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen right off. It could be a length of time before the next step happens, which is the incident. That's when the abuse happens. And then you go into reconciliation. He apologizes, he or she apologizes, or they gift you with something, or forgive me, it'll never happen again. And then there's the calm, where it's the period where you could have a short period of calm, or you can have a long period of calm before something else happens.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend, her husband, who he would hit on her, and one thing that we set as like some rules and guidelines in our friendship was her husband would never know where I lived, because my home was a safe haven for her. And sometimes when I would call her, we would use like code words. She's like, hey, I can't talk right now because I'm cooking. Cooking was our code word that he was around. He's in the room. And then I just think that you should have someone that you can go to. There's just so many things, like sometimes you can get caught up and you get so used to it happening to you that you begin to look through a different lens. Like these glasses, you begin to look through a whole different lens, and these are the glasses you're seeing through. And take those glasses off have someone help you to see what it is that you're in, and you realize that, hey, I'm in this. And that's what we're trying to do today. Maybe you've been looking through the lens of abuse, and you don't even know you're being abused. But definitely, if you feel like you're being isolated, or if someone's trying to pull you away, if someone's controlling you physically, emotionally, verbally, economically, socially, or even religiously, you are possibly in a situation, as Lillian said, situation. You are in something that could possibly endanger your life, endanger the life of those you love.
So I think with the time now that we have where the world has kind of slowed down, I feel like you need to take inventory of what's going on in your life, the good and the bad, writing down the good and the bad, and looking at your situation and being like, is this where I want to be, in the sense of like, is this really healthy for me?
That's good.
And if you are an abuser, because you could be an abuser, right? You could be. It could have been a situation to where you've grown up and you've seen abuse. It was natural. It was normal for you, and you think that it's okay, but you really want some help.
Yeah.
This is a time to take inventory. I get upset. I get the punching and slanging and whatever the case is, but you need help too. You need help as an abuser.
You guys, feel free to reach out to someone, and if you still hear your neighbor, you hear commotion, reach out, help someone. Even if you have to call 911 on someone else, please do that. You know, the person that's been abused, the victim, cannot always get out and rescue themselves, and sometimes you need someone else to rescue you.
Advocate for you, yeah, definitely. If they don't have a voice, be their voice. Advocate for them, for sure. Because if they can't get themselves out, maybe by you making a phone call, you making an introduction of yourself to them and telling them, hey, I overheard this. Is everything okay? I'm your neighbor. Like, nobody has to know we're having this conversation, right? Just advocate for someone, and you never know, you could save a life.
So you guys, we're going to leave the link down below for the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So if you find yourself in a situation, please do not be afraid or shamefaced to give them a call. And once again, thank you for tuning in to Now Let's Get Chatty. We love you guys. See you soon.